Hey guys, my name is Bando. This is Brexit Bando. It's lovely weather out there, and we've had some leaks. Now, as is tradition with Games Workshop products, they send them out to people, and they start leaking like a sieve. And I have zero sympathy for the company anymore. Their aggressive marketing and FOMO marketing, really, I don't care if they have their release spoiled anymore. And, sorry, I'm just trying to eat my supper. Let me tell you, I am not hyped for Heresy 3rd Edition. So those of you who've been in the channel for a little bit longer have been acclimatized to my Age of Darkness addiction. I have bought 4? I have 4 Age of Darkness box sets. Yes, I got given one. I've bought 3. Now, by this time last edition, I had plans for at least 3 Age of Darkness box sets. I knew what I wanted, I knew what I was going to use everything for, I had so many plans. But every time I look at the Saturnine box, I get nothing. I get no inspiration, I get no, butterflies in my tummy, I get no hype, I get no excitement, I get nothing for it. And with the release of the rules online, I don't know how to explain it. Zero interest almost. The rules have always been a difficult thing for me. As someone who enjoys autism and ADHD, I find it difficult to read a rulebook. Unless the rules are relatively simple, I cannot pay attention long enough. I cannot bring myself to dedicate the mental capacity to remember them. The ADHD and autism also causes memory issues, which means I can never actually remember them. So yeah, the fact is that some very simple rules have been overly complicated. They are overly wordy. And my personal feeling is that I think there's 2 things. One, I think they had a page count that they had to hit, and they padded their wording. And the second thing is, I have a feeling from just some of the language and it's hard to point down, it's just a gut feeling of how it reads. It reads like it's been written heavily with help from things like ChatGPT. Now, I might be wrong, but I don't know. If I was a betting man, I'd probably put money on the writers using ChatGPT or something similar. For example, there is a passage where they take, I think, like 3 paragraphs to explain rolling 2 dice that end up the same. Doubles. It literally could just be instead of being like 3 paragraphs explaining what you mean by the term doubles, you can just write ignore all rolls where both dice results are the same. It's a single sentence. Or re-roll if both dice match. Something like that. It's a single sentence. But I don't think that's what they want. And it reminds me very heavily of the roleplay game Shadowrun a couple of editions ago. I was really looking forward to getting into Shadowrun. I picked up the rulebook. It was one of the first pen and paper roleplay books I actually bought. It was quite expensive. And I read through it, and I read through the character creation, and I went, what? And I read through it again, and I didn't understand it, and I got a friend to read it, and he didn't understand it. And eventually I spoke to a German friend, and he went, oh yeah, it's written like garbage. It was so bad that the German translators basically rewrote it to make it simpler and easier to understand before they translated it. So great. So I fully expect to see some community member basically drop something along the lines of Heresy 3.0 for Dummies. Um, a simplified rule set. Now, I'm not going to go into all the rules. There are other channels who cover that. You guys know that I'm more into the kind of the modelling and painting side of things, and I like army building, and that's my biggest issue with this so far, is the new look army builder. Again, is overly complicated. It is very much the phrase, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But they've gone and fixed it anyway, and I don't know. I'll have to wait until I see both the rulebook and the Liber, whatever they're called, the Space Marine rulebooks. Because very much so, I could be like, oh, this is awful, and then the Space Marine rulebook comes along and goes, this one character resolves all of your issues. For example, I really like squadrons. I quite like squadrons and dreadnought talons. I don't think that's a bad thing. People want games with 3 dreadnoughts in them, for example. Well, I don't want to gimp the rest of my army to take 3 dreadnoughts. Not when a game is 3,000 points. Yeah, I want to take 3 dreadnoughts, for example, and then I want to take some terminators and an apothecary and a tech marine. That's not unreasonable in the Heresy. So, yeah, looking at it and going, oh no, talons and squadrons are gone now, and it's going to be a lot more difficult to get more dreadnoughts, isn't really the fix I was looking for dreadnoughts. Because that single dreadnought is still going to be as broken as he was before. The same with, reactions. They're better now. They're still not great, but reactions are definitely better. Flyers are definitely better. But it's just it seems like change for the sake of change. Nothing more, nothing less. And yeah, I don't know. I will get the book. Another issue I have is the books. I do not want to support a game that basically every 3 years goes, okay, that's it, none of your books are now valuable, go away and buy them again. That really shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the objective. It should be how long can we keep these working with this edition before we have to rewrite them? And the artwork. The artwork on a lot of the Libers is not great. I mean, for example, the Solar Auxilia doesn't even have a regular Solar Auxilia trooper on the front. It has a Charonite Ogrin. It feels like you'd want to have like a representative of the baseline faction or the logo of the faction or something that shows off the faction at a glance. Not just, hey, this army is a big guy with snippy claws, because someone's going to look at that and go, oh, that's really cool. Open the book and then get disappointed that actually no, one unit is big guys with snippy claws, and then there's just thousands of little guys in diving suits. I don't like the icons being used for the force organization chart. I think the whole quality of everything looks lower. The artwork doesn't look as good. Yeah. I've got to wait. I've got to wait for it to be released. I will make a video. I'll make a similar video when it's released, with actually what I'm surprised about and happy with and all that. And I want to be positive. I do, but yeah, I'm not vibing with it. I'm straight up not having a good time, chat. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I really don't, unfortunately. There's not enough information out there, despite most of the rulebook having leaked now. There are some bits I like, I like the reduction in reactions. I like that that flyers just don't melt instantly. I like that vehicles still have armor facings and glancing hits and penetrating hits and all that sort of thing. So yeah, check back in a couple of weeks when it's finally released, I suppose. So okay, guys, that'll be it. There's not much else to say, really, is there? All right, have a great evening. Bye bye.